In today's video, I want to talk about how you can answer the interview question, tell me about an accomplishment that you're proud of. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, the first thing you need to do is to understand why they're asking this question. And the reason why they're asking this question is because they want to understand, what are your values? What do you value as a significant accomplishment in your life? Whether it's at work, school, personal life, and also how it aligns with what they're looking for at work. So it's really seeing what do you value and then how does that compare to what they value. That will help them understand whether you meet the job's requirements and align with the company's values and if you're a fit overall. So be sure you're cognizant of why they're asking this question in the first place. Now, the second thing you need to do is to choose an example that aligns with what the job requirements are. So you don't want to pick something that's irrelevant. So just say in your personal life, you've won a certain level at chess or video games or basketball or whatever. These may be personal accomplishments, but oftentimes they're not relevant to the job at hand. And therefore, you want to pick an example that is a professional accomplishment, or at least it's professional adjacent. So for example, if you want to go into the gaming industry and you say, hey, I played in esports and I won certain titles and so on, then yeah, that's definitely related to the gaming industry. But if you're picking a hobby that's not related, then that's going to be an issue. So you have to choose a meaningful and relevant accomplishment for this example. You want this example to showcase skills or experience that's relevant to this role. And you also want to consider, what is the scope, what is the impact, and what is the scale of this accomplishment that you're going to pick. And therefore, you want to pick something that's appropriate. If it's too high or too low, people will feel like, oh, this person is overqualified. If you pick something that's too low, they'll be like, oh, this person is, their biggest accomplishment isn't that big of a deal. So therefore, you want to be just very aware of, you want to pick the right level of accomplishment that highlights the appropriate skills and experiences for the role. The third thing you need to do is make sure you use the STAR answer to structure your answer. So the situation, task, action, and result. And I'm going to move on because you can find STAR videos everywhere. The fourth thing you need to do is to highlight the key skills and experiences. I talked about that in my previous 2 points where you have to, find the right experiences and skills. But in this step, what you want to do is dig a little deeper. What are the skills that you really showcased that really helped you go over the hump and complete this accomplishment? What's your personal growth story? How did you learn from this process as you move towards this great accomplishment? Because any form of accomplishment is going to, most likely, by definition, have some kind of struggle process. And how did you struggle? How did you overcome the struggle? And how did you grow? That's something you really want to highlight in your answer as well. And that really shows your growth mindset as well, because at the end of the day, employers want to hire someone with a high ceiling and growth potential. As they join the team, they can grow in this role and become better at what they do. And finally, you want to bring it back to this role and show alignment. How does your past experience in this greatest accomplishment, in the skills that you've built and the reflections that you've made, how does it work in the role and how it aligns with your future trajectory of where you want to go? The fifth thing you want to do is talk about what about it makes you proud, right? And this is where you can go in and show a little bit more personality and show, hey, this is based on my experience. This is what made me proud about it, whether it's overcoming obstacles or overcoming hardships. And that way you can also show some vulnerability. It's like, hey, this is, I'm going to geek out about it. This is something I'm really proud of. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't come across cocky, right? You want to be confident, but not cocky. And also you might want to tie it to future aspirations. What else do you want to accomplish? You've met this goal. What else do you want to do? The best case scenario is probably align it to this current role that you're going for and say, hey, I did this in the past. I see the potential to do this in the future as well as you're going for this role. And therefore, there's alignment. Where I want to go in the future is at your company. And that is something that should excite employers like, oh, this person wants to work with us because it aligns with their next big milestone that they want to accomplish. The sixth and final thing is to prepare to have multiple examples. Now, typically what I would recommend is around 2 to 3 minutes per example or per interview question. And therefore, if you have one accomplishment that you can dig really deep into and really flesh that out, then go ahead and do that, right? Especially if it's a significant accomplishment. If you don't have a lot of big accomplishments, have a few more backups ready. so that if they're not exactly happy with it, you can pivot and talk about another example that may be more relevant. But ideally, you should have an idea on what they're looking for, or at least what this role entails, so that you can give an example that's relevant to them. And you can find that in a video on how to prepare for an interview, so check it out in the cards above. That's it. That's how you answer the question. Tell me about a time you've accomplished something that you're proud of. If you have any thoughts on it, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like, share, follow, subscribe, wherever you are. And I hope you have a good one. Take care.